Hi, good morning. We're here to interview the man of the hour. Come. Good morning. So glad that you made it to our first ever Man of the Hour interview with JSL, Jose Shaolin. We are at his office this morning, and without further ado, please welcome Jose Shaolin.
Hi.
So, you worked in Hong Kong in 1980 up to 1983.
Yes.
And made a decision to come back to the Philippines to start JSLA. Please tell us about the starting years of your company.
Actually, I'm doing very well together with Architect Anna in Hong Kong. But both of us are working in different offices, which is also our, I can say, grand plan to establish an office in the Philippines, having experience with Architect Ronald Poon and I'm with Tauho Design. And the reason, the time that we'll say we're going back is when we have our first project. When my uncle putting up a 5-story building, Benson Apartel, which I can say is almost high-rise during that time, 1983. So, Anna and I decided to come back to Manila and start with that as our initial and pioneer projects. And until now, almost 40 years, we have almost 700 projects already completed.
Wow, that's so difficult to count with just, our fingers. Tell us about the challenges that you encountered as you grew this business.
Happy challenges or sad?
Both. Let's start with the happy and.
Well, it's all sad challenges because it's sad to say that when we started, I had 10 projects right away, but only one continued. The rest were taken by other architects because they design without any contract. I do it the UAP standard that before you design, you have to have a contract, right? And most of the client got offended. So after getting my scheme, they give it to other architect. And then from there, I found out that they charge very low, maybe because they get somewhere else their fee. I don't know, but we, Architect and Anna, have no other recourse or other source of income except our fee. So only one retained, which is the original project which I mentioned a while ago, the Benson Apartel. And my uncle gave me a very substantial fee that keep me going. And I need not to say that when we start 1983, July, on August, Ninoy Aquino was murdered and crisis start. So that's why I said we started very hard. And there's a lot of frustration. There's a lot of negativity, I can say. But because I respect the profession, I earned my first cent in architecture. So I don't want to finish that nothing. Okay? So we continue our effort, our being ethical in our own small way, and I think the rest is history.
So tell us about the happy moments of the.
The happy moment is after 1 year, Hannah and I got married, and then we have 6 children, and almost all of them are architects. I say almost because I have one special child, which he said is also an architect. So I think they are my inspiration and my happy moments.
Yes. Okay, in terms of, and this is a very controversial question in a sense that not everyone would know what to do in certain situations. We see the success that you have here, and definitely you've had your share of difficult clients. How would you say you handle clients who are asking for designs before a fee? Please share with us your success story.
Well, usually the sad things happen if we tolerate them. Okay, they ask a design without a fee is something negative already in our end, that we might lose opportunity, we might have some how do you call that, disappointment. They might copy your design and then they might not like your fee. So what I've been doing is I always ask the client if he wants me to design something. I always ask him, are you considering other architects? You have to be very frank and very, straight to the point, and you can see whether he's honest or guilty from his eyes, that he will say, no, I only come here for you. You'll be the, okay, good. Yeah. That's okay, but of course, you have to talk about your fee first, right? So, I have to tell him, what is your wish list? What building you want to put up? Residential, commercial, everything? What do you want? Your budget? And like I said, that having said that, let's say residential, they give their wish list. They want 4-car garage, big, huge living room, dining table for 12, dirty, clean kitchen, with 4 bedrooms, etc. So as an architect, we are good in mathematics, right? So we can designate an area for each requirement. And then with this area, we can put the amount per square meter. And from there, we have the budget already. And tell, hey, Mr. So-so, your dream house will cost you, let's say, 10 million. Plus 15% contingency, because we're going to design and then for bidding, and that will take about 10 to 15%. And all appliances, furniture is not included, and type of contractor we have to pre-qualify. Whether it's going to be AAA, it's going to be more expensive, or we're going to use a B or single A, then it's going to be a little cheaper. Now, this is all subject to actual bidding. So, if the owner agree on the budget, you can tell them that in a week time, I'll send you my professional fee, and in 2 weeks time, I'll give you my design. Then we have to wait what he will say. He will ask definitely how much will be the fee, because you already opened up the professional fee. So he will say how much. We will say that it based on the percentage. If the cost will be high, our percentage lower, or if the cost is too low, our percentage goes up. Okay, so we will give you based on the budgetary cost in a week time for you to consider. And after that, if you approve, then we will, in 2 weeks time, we will present our design. So I think that will be very, very safe on our end, that we never touch, we never do anything yet before our contract.
Now, in terms of fees, you were mentioning that perhaps the percentage or the other methods of charging is not applicable anymore to this day.
Yes. Actually, I would say more than 20 years ago, I've been telling with Anna regarding the UAP code or the fee, that we base on percentage, and I think it should be based on per square meter. Like, because if you base on percentage, the architect can say per square meter is 50,000 and I charge 3%. The other architect say I charge 10%, but the cost is 5,000 per square meter. So how can you deal that? So if you have a per square meter 350 square meter residential, you charge, let's say, 5,000 pesos per square meter, then you have 1.5, let's say, million, something like that. And if it's big residential, 1,000 square meter, you can charge, let's say, 1,000 or 1,002. So we need the cost per square meter. Actually, our chapter, Metro chapter, have done this table already for residential per square meter, what area to what area, how much, and then for townhouses, what area to how much. It's just like an how do you call that? A dictionary that you open: residential, townhouse, commercial building, let's say apartment, warehouse. We have the rate already there, and that will be more appropriate than we tend to follow our UAP code in the terms of how you charge, and everybody is not following it. Okay, so this is the right way to do it, but because the percentage is subjective, it should be based on the cost per square meter, and the cost per square meter is subject to the architect's discretion. How much? Because of the specification. They may have a residential without the ceiling, and the per square meter is lower, and residential with ceiling, the per square meter is higher. Now, how will you apply the percentage of the UAP code? So I think it's already obsolete long before we enter into 1983. So I think it's about time UAP have to consider to update the cost, and I think we have the file already with Metro chapter about 20 years ago, but it was shelved due to UAP wants to retain the original professional fee.
Would you handle a client who's taking more of your time than necessary?
Well, actually, if they are paying good, no problem. I can drink coffee with them all day. Okay? But if they are not paying, then why waste your time?
Yes, I agree. Yes.
So we are in the service business. All the architects have to serve our client. If they pay you, they have a project with you, then you have to stay with them.
Is there any client that you walked away from?
A lot.
Okay. Would you like to share a little bit of this?
Well, there's a lot of client who seems to know everything. If I'm a doctor, they want me to operate them without any cut, something like that. So how are you going to do that?
Like asking for a miracle.
Yes, just like, let's say you're putting up a high-rise building, they want a casement window. So I said, no way, casement window, that can cause an accident. Water can come in if you forgot to close the casement window, right? So it should be awning. So if they don't like, then I drop the project. It's easily said, but we have to stick to our principle as an architect.
We walked through the office of JSLA, and on the partitions and the private rooms all over the office, you will see the F's. Now, please tell us about the F's in this office.
Well, we are lucky to become an architect, okay? Because every time we talk with client, different kind of client, they are successful in their own right, and because they are putting up a building, right? Now, easily you will know how they achieve their success. So I make it a point that I should have a bullet, a simple word that can easily be remembered by everyone. But I cannot come out with that word. What are the magic word, I would say? But it so happened one day when I'm driving along Quirino Avenue, going to my job site, there's a radio station. Senator Dick Gordon, is into that, and he said to become a success, to be success, you need a 5F. He said, this is the word I like to know. He said, number one, anything you do, whether as an architect, as an aspiring boyfriend, or a businessman, or a good driver, or a pilot, you need to have the first F, focus. If you have focus, you never go wrong. Chances of failure is very slim. Number 2, you have to do it very fast. Number 2F, very fast, or else other people might get it. Okay? Number 3, you have to be very flexible. Flexible in a sense that you have to understand to whom you are talking. If you are talking to a lady, you should be careful. If you are talking to a goons, you should say it very strong, very loud. If you are talking to a priest, then you should say it in a very nice word that still you get the idea. Now, being flexible is how to get people's trust, something like that, he's okay, he knows what I want, something like that. Next, number 4F is to become firm. Anything you said, you have to stand for it. So, if the client said, I like white, you said, okay. If you said, I like red also, you say, okay also. Then the client get confused whether it's going to be white or red. So, when you said white, you said, okay. When you said red, you said, well, white is better. Give your point. So you have to be firm of whatever you said. And lastly, you have to be friendly. Don't be mayabang. You have to share. You have to know that people need you and you need them. You have to be friendly. So this 5F will bring you a long way, which I can say JSLA architects before say Shaolin and Associates have been with this 5F long time ago.
So it appears, and evidently this is the mantra of the company.
Yes.
And would you say, on the subject of firm, would you compromise with any client for what they want and that you don't?
Well, I usually don't compromise, but I will compromise if it deals with the budget. It deals with the site development. It deals with the economic crisis. Other than that, if there's violation with our National Building Code, with the LGU ordinances, with our Architects Code of Ethics, then I shelve the projects. So I will never compromise that. And people might say, masyadong plastic, masyadong showbiz yan. I would say, no. It's just being fair and square. And that is also one of JSLA motto, that to deal everything in fairly and squarely. That's all.
Okay. Ladies and gentlemen, you're looking at the picture of success, and now everybody knows that your wife is the famous Ana Mangalin Noling, with whom you have 6 children, 5 of whom are joining this company right now. How can you describe this succession plan for the next generation?
Well, what you can see now is the success, but you never see all our disappointment, all our failure. Okay, this success came from all the failures that we have. We try to perfect every failure that we encounter, and my staff knows that. Sometimes they get hurt when I scolded them, but finally they realize, Shaolin is right. Now, my children taking up architecture, where I can see there will be continuity after me, that is already a bonus for me, right? And like I told my child that, hey, how come all of you are taking up architecture? Do you know that one pie, before I'm cutting into 2, my mom and me, now we have to cut into 8, because 6 of you plus me and mom. Then my son said, one of my sons said, no, Dad, let's make the pie bigger. So that clicked my mind that say, then that's it. I should make the company ISO certified, make it consistent, so that my client will not be disappointed from their generation to their next generation.
Tell us a little bit about the ISO experience.
Well, like I said that I've been a perfectionist guy ever since. So ISO is trying to maintain the perfectionist that you have in your office, because we get old, our let's say our standard getting weak when we get old, right? We change the policy because we are weak. Let's say once a week you go to job site. When you're old, maybe once a month already, then that already a sign of down or depression or depreciation, something of the company. So I'll see to it that every week we go to job site. How we do that? So I have to train my people, I have to train my son to be in the job site weekly. And then if they are old, they have to train other younger JSL to go to the job site once a week. And the standard of JSLA, the quality and standard remains. And to assure that, we applied in the year, about 5 years ago, on our 35th year, the ISO certified, and we are now into our 5th year, going to the 40th year by next July. So we are 5 years ISO, but I can say that since 2000, we are already ISO in our own standard. And we just apply 5 years ago. So it's very easy. You can ask any of my staff. It doesn't make any difference.
How about a question on numbers? How many employees do you have right now?
Well, I can say we are undermanned now. We are about 130. But before pandemic, we are 156. But I've told my HR that by the end of this month, I need 200.
Wow. And number of projects?
We have ongoing, you can see in my screen, we have 78 ongoing projects. And then production, I think we have about 30 plus. Production where we do our work and drawings. And schemes, maybe you will not believe, it's almost 200 projects.
Wow. Wow. So is there any project that you you have buildings, you have residentials. Is there any other projects you'd like to have a capture at this time in your life?
Actually, in our 39 years to be exact, we have 54 design capabilities. Down to, let's say, residential to ferry terminal, everything. So all of that is 54 is 54. 54 design capability is already, I can say, the most number of design that any architectural firm can have. Okay. Now having another one, I don't want to mention, but of course there's a lot of nice project that we are into. But I hope that in few months' time I can reveal that.
Okay.
Okay.
How about teaching? I understand you're very much into the National University and some training modules or opportunities that you mentioned earlier.
Yes, actually I've been to UST, Adamson, FEU, NU, CCP, and a lot of PUP. Architectural, and I'm the resource speaker. Teaching is not really my forte, but some of the article you can see they said that I'm a natural born educator because I like to teach. While teaching, I'm learning also. Okay, I teach my staff every day. Okay, so I think that's enough already. What I can only do for the other university is that just tell them what is right, what is wrong. Teaching, let's leave it to the different professor of each university. So it's not really my forte.
Now, as a father teaching your 5 architect children, how is it different from home life and architecture life here in the office?
To be honest with you, not only 5, it's 6. Okay.
6.
My home is my office, so it's obvious that I've influenced all my children to become architect, which I never did. They just like it. I want some of them to become lawyer, doctors, but they still take up architecture. So what I have to do is to let them have their own expertise and take up masteral degree in Spain, in London, in New York, with different type of architecture in that sense, okay? So, we always talk about architecture things. Even when we go out abroad, we also talk about buildings. It's nice, not nice. We criticize some building. We praise some building. It's all about architecture. I think it becomes a family. How do you call that, Anna? A family.
The culture.
Culture already. It's there already.
Okay, on the subject of integrity, what can you say?
Well, everybody have their own kind of integrity. Well, for me, I would say I can easily say no to any illicit money. Okay, in my first few projects, wow, we needed the financial, but we turned it down, and it comes out that the one who give me a project. So maybe you can check, most of my other projects are from contractors, suppliers, and etc. And that's the only thing they can repay us for giving them projects and to supply something like that. So their own project, their parents, their relatives, they refer it to us, and that is better than getting some commission. And I think that is good.
Yes,
That is good.
yes. I'd like for you to share with the others what we were talking about earlier, how Shaolin parties in his earlier years, and how his friends are able to bring back the clients.
Well, it's not really Shaolin party. It's just that when I started as an architect, when we come back here from Hong Kong with Anna, I only have one project. And then after seeing my friend, my classmate, relatives, and some new acquaintance, the topic we are discussing is I try to talk to them and tell them about the construction problem. If you don't have architects, people might take advantage of you. The architects don't have complete specification. The architect get illicit money, etc. Tell them all the things that is happening, and I can say more than 80% are into that kind of problem. So with those friends around me during that dinner, they learn a lot. And without you knowing it, if you're 5 there, you have additional 5 clone, Shaolin clone. And you never know that in a week time, you get 5 new clients. They refer to you, and then the rest is that you just prove to them that what you're saying can really protect them when they are putting up any projects. And you have to protect your client, and then avoid illicit money, temptation, so that you can perform well.
Are you satisfied with the outcome of things in the span of 40 years? Has the market learned from you? Has the market matured?
Yes, I'm satisfied with what we are doing, but I'm not satisfied with others doing, other architect who is practicing unethical, which destroy the name of architecture. And we architects are doing our best to become ethical, and yet they try to get your client, even they are not called, they try to invite your client for a lunch or dinner, and then try to present their portfolio without being asked. Okay, I never go to a client or somebody that did not call me. If they call me, I go. If they don't call me, I know he has a project, but I will never go to them, because I have respect in our profession. We don't prostitute our profession. This is what I learned from the late Engracio Mariano. He once told me, Shaolin, if we are going to collaborate in this project, Centro Escolar University, don't prostitute our profession. That is what he said. So I said, yes, we have the same principle. So we get along well. We have Fontana Leisure Park. We have a lot of projects before he dies.
How about marketing? What is your concept of marketing your firm? What would you do to...
We are not commodities. We don't have to market ourselves. Okay? People will market it for you. What we can only do is to put our track record in a book for the younger generation to appreciate. This is not marketing so that people will give project to us because of that. No. This is for our responsibility to our next generation. So for me, marketing will just come if you are doing good.
Okay. And let me just share with you a coffee table book that we have here in JSLA. And here in this spread, it says the Shaolin Way. Please talk about the Shaolin Way.
Well, Shaolin Way, many people may not like it because sometimes they think that it's too harsh, it's too martial law in a sense that it's too straightforward and you will never get client. But things gone the other way around. People like my style, people like my frankness, people like my strictness, and being perfectionist. So being perfectionist not only on my trade, not only personal, not only my design, but also to all my staff. They have to follow the standard of JSLA. Okay? And when they follow it right, they are doing the Shaolin Way.
How about the younger generation? You have your reputation already inherited by your children. How about those without a papa like JSLA? What is your...
I have a lot of staff. Like I said, after graduation, 1980, I tried to apply here in the Philippines, but it's martial law then. So there's no job. It's all government projects. No private there's no SM, no Robinson, no Mega World, no Philinvest. So where will I go? I go to Hong Kong and I get the projects there, right? I get employed there. Now, during my application here, local architect, they don't get me because of my Chinese eyes. So I make it a point that any Chinese who will apply my office, I will get it. Because walang bobo na arkitekto. Pag nakagraduate ka ng architecture for 5 years, you are good. You are not bobo. So I would get them. So I can say freely that maybe paramihan ng Filipino-Chinese architect now in the Philippines, maybe they come from Shaolin, JSLA. Now, that's the only thing I can say that I have, in my own small way, contributed to them how to be clean, how not to get illicit money, and if they follow, well and good. If they don't, then good luck to them. Okay? But I've been telling everyone, even like I showed you a while ago, some of their projects, they send it to me by Viber, I do some correction, I send it back to them. I'm helping them. They are just like my children. So you cannot say that I'm helping my children and then the next generation, I'm also considering them as my children. Because JSLA architects, my staff can attest to you, I treat them like a family. During COVID, they know what we have done. I replan my 5th floor, I put beds, shower room, toilets for them to stay so they will not go out. We have a bubble office. So my contribution is those architects that work with me and have experienced the 5F, the Shaolin Way, and it's up to them to become my disciple. Okay, now, if I can spread 10 of the 20 or 30 young architect, maybe each of them will also spread out another 10 of the 20, and incidentally, we will have a very clean and refutable or recognized, respectable profession.
Before we end this interview,
Shaolin, what is your legacy?
Well,
Is that a good word?
The legacy which I want to leave to the next generation of architects, not only for my children, but for the whole architecture per se, is to give back what I've learned, I've earned, and what I've learned, and I put it in a book, and maybe the Shaolin Way, and not to mention, but I have to mention that I give back some scholars who is really in need, and they are good. And so far, we have about 3 universities that we have scholars from National University, from Columban College, from University of Northern Philippines. So I think it's really part of our gift of what we have now to the next generation, and of course to the society. Our CSR, yearly we have about 3 to 4 CSR during our excursion, team building, and Christmas party. We provide some CSR, and that is sharing to others. And we try to train our staff to be more generous than to be greedy. In addition not to be greedy and self-centered, I remember one of the richest man in the Philippines, the late Henry C. Sr., once told me, and I will never forget this. He said that, Shaolin, tell your friend, tell your staff, not to be in a hurry to be rich. Just be prepared to be rich. That's all.
Ladies and gentlemen, you've just witnessed a very fruitful and inspirational interview with Architect Jose Shaolin. In closing, what would you like to impart to our audience?
Well, before anything else, I would like to thank the COF and of course our Chancellor and Malu here. And everything in architecture for me, we have to expect the unexpected. Okay? We have to be ready in anything that we might face during our practice as an architect. The only thing I can say that I did not expect is the Likha Award. So I'm very thankful with that. So thank you very much.
And thank you. It's
you.
been a pleasure being here with Architect Jose Shaolin. And now back to you, Nina, and happy weekend, everyone.